Okay, welcome back. Um, we've just started playing 4 tables, $2, 9 max. Um, I wanted to play these for 2 or 3 reasons. I played a little bit yesterday on $5 and fell off a cliff a little bit. I think I lost about four or five buy-ins in a very short session, and 1 or 2 hands I didn't play very well, and 1 or 2 just bad beats. Just plain, we did the right thing, but I think Ace got cracked or something like that a couple of times. I didn't record that session. Um, I thought I'm just going to play for an hour or two. I'm rushing around, and I've got a little bit of time, and I think there were some roadworks outside that were doing something, so I don't think it was a great time to record, whatever the reason was. I'm pretty sure I didn't record it. I can double check, but I'm pretty sure I wasn't recording then. Anyway, it was a bit of a disaster session, and so I thought, okay, so that's one reason I'll just drop down a little bit, recover, and make that up. No need to rush. And secondly, I think some people seem to enjoy watching the $2 games. So that hopefully those that do will find this helpful. And thirdly, some people enjoy watching the 9 mats games. So I think, as I said before, I'm not rushing with my bankroll challenge. I also want to provide a little bit of variety here. And sometimes I feel like playing for Zoom tables, dip, 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 dip. That's the kind of mood I'm in. I have a lot of energy. I want to, that's what I feel like doing. Sometimes I feel like playing one slow table, 9 max, that's what I feel like doing. So the other thing is today, I just feel like playing 4 9 max tables. And, as far as the bankroll challenge go, I think $2 is a nice sort of relaxing level for us to go for. Okay, we have 2 overcards here. We maybe have the best hand, we maybe not. And so, if anyone wants to continue, I'm just going to make it expensive to them. Put a large price into that. If we get a continue, we may end up. At least we don't lose a stack. We lose a bit of a stack. Just going to flat with the Jack 9 here. Don't really know some of these players. I need to label them. And that would be helpful. 7, 8, 9. So we've got a good shot. 2 overs. We're just going to continue. And I'm just going to hope for the best. We don't really want to go too aggressive because we haven't really got too much showdown value with that at the moment. Don't really know this player. I'm not going to pay for that. I don't, if we hit the jack, we've got to really hit the good shot there. If we hit the jack, then anything else, we're in trouble. Okay, so, 3 ace. Not that there's any reason to continue there. Ace king. 9 9. I'm going to re-raise it. Oops, I missed that because of that. Put me off. A bit slow there, wasn't I? So, okay, we missed that one. Maybe we would have lost it anyway. Let's re-raise the king queen. I mean, he doesn't really have many chips here, but if he comes along, that might make it worth it. No, it wasn't a king queen, wasn't it? It was a queen jack. But anyway, it worked. So the other thing about doing this, what I wanted to show you was, for those of you who are not familiar with this, is, you know, how sometimes I use my Holdem Manager. There is a link to Holdem Manager in the chat if you want to purchase this product. But here, you know, you can look at, this is just the $2 games, and you can see the graph for this that the hands we played in the challenge at $2 so far. So we haven't really played that many. I mean, we've been going nearly a month now. We've only played about 14,000 hands, 15,000 hands, something like that. So we're plus $30 there. We can break this down a little bit as well. So we can, this is all the $2 games. So obviously we've played some 9 max tables like we are doing now, and some 6 max tables as well. And one thing that you can do with the Holdem Manager, you can just get a little bit of a comparison of how you're doing with the different number of players at the tables. We'll try to have a look at that in a minute. I'm not going to continue with the 5-7. I'm just going to put the jacks in. It's going to go half a stack. I might as well just go for it. Okay, and Queen 8 will call. Okay, so we're good there with the jack, so we'll put a little bit of a blue here with this guy, bluffy 5s. We have a good shot here, an overcard, so we can call 1, I think. And we don't improve there. We don't really have that much showdown value. We could be well beat. Oh, check, so I'm not going to put any more money in the pot. Okay, so that makes it a bit tricky, doesn't it? Good for us, but we by no means have the best hand there. So I think we're okay. I think I'm just going to check it off now. Okay, so okay. So let's see if we can have a look at this. So this is all of the $2 games. If we want to have a look at the how we've done specifically in the number of hands with 6 players in, you can see here we've got the players from 2 to 10. And we can just take this down to 6. Okay, so so there's the players from 2 to 6. Okay, you can see we went up and we've gone down a little bit. That's a bit surprising, isn't it? Well, it's what, 10 buy-ins over that period. So up, down. Now it says there players to, oops, missed this, or Mr. King Queen, trying to do, it says you're making a separate video a little bit really, so we're nearly done with the chart anyway. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So my throat seems a bit hoarse this morning. I don't know why. I didn't really talk much yesterday. But the other day I did have a little bit of a cough 2 or 3 days ago, and maybe it's from that. So sorry if I sound a little bit sexy. Apologies. Control yourself. Okay, so we'll have an open ender here, but no means the best hand. Top pair here. And with a bluffy player. I'm going to donk. Right out. Yeah. Recall. We probably haven't got the best hand here, and there's not many chips here. We might as well just pay him off if he's got it. It's one of those ones, short stack with not going to hurt us too much. We have ace nine. No idea what he was doing there. Don't watch my videos. Learn from the master. I'm only joking. I'm anything but a master. Okay. So yeah, let's get back to the chart a little bit. So this is how we've done with not one, well, with 2 to 6 players. You can't play with no players, can you? It'd be great if you could, isn't it? You win with no players at the table. You become a poker millionaire with nobody playing. That'd be a new one. The concept I'm developing, I'm working on it. Watch this space. I will let you know as soon as I know, you will know. That's a big secret. Win at poker with no one playing. What am I going on about? Anyway, so yeah, flatted the 8-9. I was going to re-raise for some reason, but bit of a misclick. I'm going to fold here. I need a few more chips to go with the ace 9, 8-9. We've got an open ender. If he'd have called, then I would have gone for it. Okay, so yeah, 2 to 6 players. It doesn't necessarily mean though with Holdem Manager when you apply that filter to your graph. I'm just going to re-raise with the ace 7 here. Let's see what happens. Let's ask a question. Problem is here with the re-raises at the $2, you know, nobody really respects them. I'm just going to flat with the ace king. I could re-raise, but I want to just disguise the hand a little bit. Okay, so good and bad. Someone could have trips. We're going to put a little bet in, just ask a question. Okay, how many? 3 of 6. Another little bet. Oh, it's a mess, isn't it? I'm just going to have to pay it off, I think. Yeah. I thought he had a jack. But one of those ones, isn't it? Weird. There's a lot of reasons to fold there. Enough reasons to call. 30 big blinds. It was okay. Sometimes you've just got to pay it off, haven't you? So where was I? So yes. Yeah, so the graph here, it doesn't necessarily, this when you apply this filter, it just really puts a filter in on the number of players on the table. So now we've gone from 2 to 6. It doesn't necessarily mean six max tables. Although on six max tables you won't have any more than six players. So what it means is it also includes the figures for nine max tables where you've only got six players. So sometimes here, you know, you can see in these tables, we've got pretty much full tables at the moment, one or two players missing. But, you know, so it won't be adding any data to the kind of that chart of between 2 and 6 players. But occasionally, you know, you get 3 players drop out of these 9 match tables, and you get it. You know, you end up getting basically a 6 max game. So it includes that as well. Okay, so so that's all the tables with between 2 and 6 players, whether it's on a 6 max table or a 9 max table. So now what we can do, how do you know, how can you compare how you're doing between 6 max and 9 max using this method on Holdem Manager? Well, what you can do is, what I do is, probably not the best, I'm not sure. If you know about other ways, then let me know. I'm not really, oops, I don't know why this, I don't know what I missed there. Sometimes I get that where it sits me out. I miss a hand. I don't know why. Okay, so we've got a second pair here. I'm just checking. We have trips. So I'm just going to re-raise the. He's played 80% and probably has nothing. We could have something, but. Seven, 9, 10. I'm just going to call this off. 10, 9. Nice. Stay, hold. Yeah. It's worth a shot for him. Obviously, he had something. He could have had a boat, couldn't he? No, he didn't. Woohoo! So we've only just started playing. How long have we been playing? About 20 minutes. So 180 here, 160. I think we lost a couple of hands on. We'll have a look at that in a minute. And this is how we can play about with Holdem Manager. Sometimes what I like to do, I mean, a lot of the times I don't have Holdem Manager on. I think you can see now I have the VPIPs here. Okay. On them. It's really just because there's 4 tables of 9 players, and I don't really know the players. So it's just kind of similar setup to what you kind of get on GG. You know, it's just a lot of the times I'm not really looking at these figures a lot. I don't really pay that much attention to them. I think often when I do, as I've already said, I just end up getting slapped because I'm like, oh, you know, 44% VPIP, you must have nothing, you know, and you know they turn over ace. So I think, you know, I try to minimize the impact of what that information is, and apply greater attention to what I see, the actions that I see at the table. You know, I think sometimes some of these high VP players, they actually play quite well, you know. It is, yeah, they're playing way too many hands, but you know, post flop, some of the post flop play from some of these players is actually quite okay. You know, they're not necessarily barreling all the time, and They give a lot of information away. They, they check when they haven't got anything. They bet when they do have something. So you can generally kind of get that, and then you get some just complete yahoos who just bet. I think that was the thing yesterday when I was playing. I think I was playing six max $5 thing, and there was a player on there. He had 83% VPIP, and he was just pretty much nearly playing every hand and betting everything. It didn't really matter. And that's really difficult to play against because you knew how. The thing was though, he always seemed to have it. I mean, there was about. I mean, he went up to about plus 700 big blinds because if you had about this 30-minute stint of no matter what two cards he had, he flopped straights with random two off-suited cards, flushes with random two off-suit flushes cards, and it was cracking aces, cracking kings, and this happens, and you begin to think, God, this is a con. It's just a fraud. But I haven't been concentrating here. I completely missed this king six. Completely missed it because I was talking. I wasn't even looking at it at all, and we got that. So it probably would have called anyway. But I didn't. I just completely didn't look at that hand. Probably because I was talking. Okay, I'm going to change this table. There's not many players, but that will be an example of where those few hands will be recorded in the 2 to 6. So I need to concentrate. I didn't lose much money down that silly king six. Probably this guy would have called anyway. He had a flush draw and a 78%. He's not going to fold. So I don't think too much harm done there. But at the same time, I'm not happy with the way that I didn't even know what I had. I didn't even know what was on the board, to be honest. So let's try to join another table, and there we go. So let's have a look. How do we tell the difference? How can we make a little bit of an assessment between the difference between 6 max and 9 max? Well, it's not necessarily 6 max tables and 9 max tables. It's between the difference between how we are doing when we're playing between 2 and 6 players, and then when we're playing more than 6 players. And this is the way that I do it sometimes. I just try to just keep an eye on the hands a little bit here, probably, and then I can get back to concentrating. I'm just going to check here. I could re-raise, but we've got bottom pair, ace, call one. I'm going to bet half pot. Not great, but we do have the nut flush draw. We might come out a fold. No one bet originally, and they might give up on that. Fold, come on, fold. You know you want to. Oh, a complete brick for us, really. So. Bit of a shot. Flat the king 10. We get nothing there, really. So let's quickly try to look at. Now, what we're going to do is change the filter. And now we put on. Oops. Let's get back to the game a minute. Oh, fold that. Fold that. Fold that. So I should have a bit of time. Okay, I wish I could give you a bit more time sometimes. Okay, so filter editor, and we'll just change the filter up to 7, because obviously that's not a 6 max table. 7 to 10. Okay, and that will give us an idea of the 9 max. Now look at that. Wow. Okay, so you know, there we can break down that and that gives us some important information, doesn't it? Well, I'll have a look at that. I'm surprised, but I haven't really looked at that. So, like, to be honest, over the first few weeks of this bankroll challenge, I've not really prepared or planned much. I've just done it, you know. And I probably need to get a little bit more prepared and planned. I'm going to put an overbet in here. We have a weekend, and this might scare people. 5, 6, obviously 7, 8's got the did. Fold. Okay, that's great. That's what we wanted. We didn't really want to continue with 10-10s. See the ace come on the turn. You know, it's Pokerstars. Come on. You know what's coming next. That's what's coming next. Poop. You know this. You know how it goes. No, it's poker, isn't it? Sorry, Pokerstars. I didn't mean to be. Sometimes I go, oh, Pokerstars, I hate you. But, you know, I wouldn't play if I hated you that much. And I do win, so even though I moan sometimes, don't take it too seriously. So yeah, let's quickly look at that. So you can see here, we haven't really played many hands with a $2 with 7 to 9 players. So and this is 3 weeks worth of poker, 3 or 4 weeks worth of poker. So 2,000, 2,500 hands, something like that. So it's plus $15. Okay, in that time. So just need to make sure I had free after I folded. I should check my hand before I fold. Probably is the way to do it. So what? Yeah, that's a fairly good big blind 100, doesn't it? Let's have a look. Yeah, we're happy with those figures. Okay, good luck twos. No. Okay. So you can see there the figures for the 9 max are actually quite good. But we've not really played many. So you think, okay, you know, $15, 2,500 hands. You know, how much would it be if we played 25,000 hands? Yeah. So that's informative because it just says, okay, well, you might be better just carry on doing something, do what works. You know, that doesn't sound like such a silly idea, does it? do what's profitable, and then when you get to another position in a more profitable position, or the bankroll is up, then we can reevaluate then. So that's interesting. So $15, 2,500. Let's just go back to change the filter back again. Compare that to the 6 max or 6 players. Oops, I want to get into that hand. I'm gonna re-raise. Nothing's gonna happen. We're just getting brick here, aren't we? Okay, great. So $15, 2,500. Remember that. I'm doing something you shouldn't really do here, is analysing everything whilst I'm playing, but it's a bit naughty. Don't do it. It's naughty. But it saves me doing another video because I'm trying to produce as many videos as possible, and oh, we have a little bit of a freeze. Let's hope this doesn't last long. Okay, it's okay. What I found is very occasionally, not as often as I was getting, I had Pokerstars was crashing, and it was at one point, it was about once every 90 minutes, something which was annoying. It's not so much now. That's good. I think there's been an update the last few days or so, maybe that had an impact on it. I don't know. But what I did find out the other day is when it did crash, I can log out and log back in, and it's all okay again. So it just takes a brief sort of minute, quite literally. When it crashes, it kind of sometimes it sits me out of the tables. So my cleaning just going past with the wheelie bin, just muted the mic a little bit. So yeah, sometimes when it crashes, it sits me out of the tables, and I can't get back in. So, but when that happens, I just log out, log back in, and I'm back in. It's all okay. So I really don't know why that happens, but it's only been something that's happened recently, or been happening recently. So yeah, so let's have a look at this again. Let's try and get back to this filter very quickly. We try to do this. So that's tables of 7 to 9 players. So basically, that would be represent the the full ring. Okay. So now what we want to do is just have a look at the 2 to 6. And there'll be some crossover in these figures a little bit. No, there aren't actually 2 to 6, 7 to 10. No, they'll be quite separate. What am I talking about? Okay, so, and we can see here 2 to 6, 20 with 12,000. So we have 15 with 2,500 and 20 with 12,000. Doesn't really mean too much. There's not really that many hands there, because if you look at it, if you go back and look at here, 2,500, you know, there's probably about 15 there, you know, so it's very similar to the 9 max, isn't it? Let me bend it up. So it could be, it doesn't really mean anything until so I'm playing at a time when my cleaners are active and the really bins are outside. I live in a condominium and it's very clean. They're very good cleaners, spotless. So okay, so sometimes I'm moving bins about and mop buckets and all sorts. So it's great. But this is my amazing audio skills. Just move the mic a bit. That's my technique. That's the extent of my technique of managing sound issues. Off on. Off on a bit. Just a job, sort of. Um, I'm going to re-raise with the ace-2, have a bit of fun. Check with the aces, get something like that. It's only one, we're done. There you go. Silly little call. Well, you never know. I don't know what happened with the ace-2 hand. Did they fold? I didn't look. Probably, yeah. Okay. Yeah, tricky hand this, isn't it? I'm going to re-raise. Ask a question here. Okay, that's great. So now if we get back to the chart, you know, we can break this down a little bit now. Let's just have a look at for today. Okay. Okay, this has got numbers of players 2 to 6, isn't it? Let's get that filter off, actually. Let's go back to this year, start of the challenge, okay? And we've got between 2 and 6. We want to change that. Let's just put 2 to 10. Okay, so 2 to 10. So that's all games, 6 max, 9 max, 2 to 6 players, whatever, everything, which I think we started off with. Yeah, so it's about 35, something like that. Then so up, flat, down, flat, going up a little bit, well, fairly normalish, I think, but not really that many hands at the moment. And what we want to do, just have a look at today, you know, date range, today. Okay, so I haven't really played that. We played a little bit earlier, I think. I say a little bit earlier, you know, it must have been about midnight, 1 o'clock or something. So I didn't record that because I didn't want to annoy my neighbours. And so we played a little bit earlier. And let's have a look at that again. So yeah, up, down, up. So now, you know, we've played about 900 hands so far today. And we're plus $4. So sometimes I just like to keep that chart there, like the daily chart. And doesn't really mean anything, just kind of. If I'm playing higher stakes, you know, like yesterday, I was playing a few $5, then I dropped down because it just I fell off a cliff, and we don't really have a strong hand here with the ace-3. We have top pair. We're just going to pay it off. Jack 8. What he got is amazing river. One of those ones, really. So, yeah, sometimes I don't mind paying off these donkeys because very often they. Sorry, donkey's not a very nice word, is it? Yahoos. I like that word. I don't mind paying them off sometimes. I just have a feeling, you know, it's just I'm lending them a few chips for a while. You know, they later on in the game they're going to do something silly and I get them back. You know, I don't really care. When you think about it, also, I've got the Pokerstars monthly poker challenge running. Let's just see if I can show you that. Okay. So we're on 277.29 points and we've got to get to 750 and we have 20 days 3 hours left to do that. Okay, so that shouldn't be a problem. And then we get $60, if you can just see here, your prize, $60 in cash. So, you know, we're on course to do that. We probably have to play higher stakes than $2 a little bit. Even if we stayed at $2, we wouldn't be too far off. We might even do it on $2. I'm not so sure, but so you know, that's not something that I'm really going to worry about trying to get too much. But so that adds $60 when we get to that. So let's say 20 days. Okay, let's say we played 3,000 hands a day at 9 max. $2. This is just kind of bashing things out of my head. And we see there 14,000 hands. I think it was $35, wasn't it? So over 20 days, 3,000 hands a day would be 60,000 hands. Once it's a 3,000 times, so 60,000 hands. Okay, so that's roughly 4 times 15,000 hands, isn't it? Obviously. And around about 15,000 hands, we have $35. So we could say 4 times 35 over the next 20 days, just playing this. Potentially, we could earn 4 times $35 at the current rate. You know, just to sort of rough it. So that is $140, and then get a $60 bonus. So that's $200. Okay. You know, so it's just going in the right direction in a sense that, you know, if you, that sounds like an okay plan for 20 days, you know. I mean, obviously you might go up, we might go up the stakes, we've been messing around a bit so far, but what I'm doing is just sort of thinking aloud. That's a perfectly acceptable thing to do if you want to sort of take your time with the bankroll challenge. I'm probably looking at doing that a bit more now because I've had a chaotic month or so starting the challenge, doing this, doing that. Some things working, some things not working, and I think, as I've already said, I don't think that's great. I think I want to just get a little bit more of a settled thing going and concentrate on that graph a little bit, and then, you know, the room for a little bit more experimentation, I think. You know, last Sunday I say a disaster at tournaments, but I lost $12. You know, but then you have to look at the opportunity cost of that. Really, oh, we have a okay. Now we have this thing. Now it sits us out. So what I'm going to have to do, it's really annoying. So I'm going to have to log out and log back in. So just take me a brief minute. That's what happens. Okay, so we have this Pokerstars crash. And let's log out, log back in. Bear with me. The tables should come back. I really don't know why this is happening, but it is happening. It's annoying. Okay, so the tables should come back in a second. If not, we'll have to set new tables up. No. Just okay. Taking a few seconds. So, come back tables. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pause this video here, and I'm going to have to work this out. It's not happening, and then I'll do another video shortly. Sorry about that, but Pokerstars has crashed on me, and I'll put those hands up anyway, and then we'll come back in a few minutes.